Hi there, and welcome to this look at Amplesound virtual guitars, and more specifically today, strumming live. You can do it with these virtual guitars, and once you kind of master it, it sounds really quite good. Firstly, I just want to apologise today for my singing, because my singing is no good at all, so I'm not really going to try and sing, but I do kind of have to sing a little bit to just get into just get a sense of what I'm playing, but I'll try and keep that to a minimum. And secondly, any sort of mistakes and stuff. I'm not perfect at this, and it's quite tricky to do when you're recording videos and doing all other stuff. So, firstly, I've chosen the Martin acoustic today from Amplesound to show you this, and you can see that on the plugin here. So first of all, let's just show you these strings open in a standard EAD-GBE pattern. So there we go, there's all the strings open and gives you an idea of what the guitar sounds like. But of course I don't want to use it like that, just across the whole keyboard as a guitar. I want to use it as a strummer. So I'll switch to strumming mode. Click on strummer here and turn strumming mode on, and then when I go back to the main section, you'll notice that my whole keyboard is laid out entirely differently. And I'm just going to go over that with you now and tell you exactly which bits do what, or hopefully cover most of it. First of all, we have from C0, I think it is. Yeah, C, that's 3, 2, 1, C1, isn't it? C1 right up to here, so that would be B, I don't know, B2 or something. Right up to here, they are chord. You can program different chords into those and use those and just call those up whenever you want. So if I, just press the D here, I have a D major chord programmed into here. So now my strum is a D major. Simple. So you can program those to be whatever you want right between there and there. Then we have our sequence, so our strumming sequencer. And I'm not really going to go into the sequencer at all today because I'm talking about live strumming now, but you do have a sequencer and you can play different sequences using this key, this key, this key, and these different keys. But if I just play you a standard sequence. So that's the kind of thing you might expect from other more basic virtual guitar instruments like strummed acoustic or something like that. Then we can play the individual notes of the chord, so the individual strings of the chord. So we have all 6 individual strings here on the guitar, some of which of course won't work for a particular chord. So, on a D you would probably only ever use the top 4 strings. But if you were playing like an E minor, you would use all 6. And they're in these keys here. Then we get to the actual strumming bit itself. And I'll just put that, I'll leave that on E minor for now. So we have various different strum types: downstroke, upstroke, and then upstroke with treble mute, upstroke with bass mute, all these different ones across here. And I'll just tell you which ones there are, in fact. I'll go over these quickly. So we have a downstroke with the bass open. We have a downstroke with the treble open. We have an upstroke open. We have a mute, a palm mute. We have a downstroke with the bass muted. We have a downstroke with the treble muted, and we have an upstroke muted. And so the main 2 I'm going to be using today is this one and this one. So just a sort of down and up. So. But of course you could use something a bit more lively with a palm mute. And you can see from that basic example how easy it is to just start playing something. And right up here at the top you've got a couple of different noises as well. You've got various slides and stuff, but to be honest, you're probably not going to be reaching up here if you're doing live stuff. you would use these. These are kind of little touches you can add in and throw in as MIDI events to just make everything sound really realistic. But for live playing, that's probably not going to be possible. I mean, you might be able to jump around really easily if you're incredibly good, but not so easy when it's not so easy to know kind of when to just put in a little slap like that or something. Okay, so looking at the screen we've got here, I'm going to go back to the actual strummer section now. And this is the main area I'm interested in. So this is the sequencer here on the right hand side. I'm not really talking about that, so that's what we're playing when we hit this key. I'm interested in this section here because these are the positions that you've got to program your chord. So if I press my D chord here, you can see that it shows me the individual positions on the fretboard. And then I can just choose my chord here and then the variation of chord here, of which there are unbelievable. I mean, you can program any chord into this. It really is fantastic as far as flexibility goes. And then you can save them down, and once you've saved your kind of patterns, you can just load them in. So today I am looking at a song called Faith of the Heart. I've been rewatching all the Star Trek Enterprise things. Don't ask me why, I just have. And there's a super cheesy, it has the incredibly cheesy theme music. It's a Rod Stewart track. It's not too bad a track. It's just that it's really quite cheesy. And whenever it comes on, my partner's like, oh, leave it on, leave it on. And it's like, no, I want to skip this music, please. Don't make me listen to this music. So instead, I'm going to show it you today. So I've just quickly looked up the chords, and here are the chords as far as Ultimate Guitar is concerned. I've checked this before, so I know these are good. And I've programmed those in to my chord bank here, and I'm trying to keep everything within this octave here, so everything from C2 to B2. I'm trying to keep everything within here. So that means you've got to be fairly flexible. You've got to be maybe a little bit imaginative too. So in this particular track, E minor is used quite dominantly. But there is one section where it steps from a B minor to an E major. So I've used the E flat key actually to program in the E major because it's close and it's just something I can remember. So rather than jumping down to this E here, I'm going to just use this one. So in this particular song it goes. So sounds pretty nice. So it starts on a D. So let's just listen to how that starts. And there's a couple of quick changes in succession. So it goes, it's been a long road, but my time is finally here. I will see my dream. Sorry. Alright, so that gives you an idea of how you can play a track live. I mean, as I say, I'm not brilliant at this, but the benefit of this is, of course, you're not using fixed tempo sequences like this. I mean, what do you do if somebody, if you're playing manually with somebody else, if you've got a friend sat with you who's playing on a bass or something, or even just some drums or something, if they drift, their timing drifts slightly, what do you do? Well, with this, of course, you're playing live, so you can make any changes that you need to. If you want to play something a bit more lively, then play it a bit more lively. It's been a long road, getting from there to here. It's been a long time, but my time is finally here. I will see my dreams through. So yeah, anyway, you get the idea. So just a few additional things to note here is that Amplesound, it only lets you play what you can physically play on a guitar. And that's really important because there are some things you just can't do. You just can't change chords quick enough in certain scenarios. You just can't play certain notes because you'll already have a finger pressed on a certain string on the fretboard. So it means that that note will be therefore kind of muted from the last. Do you know what I mean? There is only certain physical stuff you can do. And Amplesound will respect that, which is something I really like, because as soon as you break those rules, it sounds fake. And there are other lower kind of quality plugins that let you do that. And I think there is actually an option on the Amplesound plugins to just play it in a keyboard style. But if you're familiar with a keyboard rather than a guitar, then you may struggle if you enable that option because you have to kind of think how... Basically what I'm saying is it's beneficial to have some knowledge of guitar to be able to make this sound good, because you have to know the limitations of a guitar. The other thing, as far as mastering it is concerned, is that when you make those chord changes, it's not like on a piano. If I'm playing a C minor chord on a piano, I'm just going to press all those keys together. And then I'm go down to a G. I'm going to press all those keys together. But if I'm on this, I have to make that chord change just a very fraction of a second before I strum the next chord. And that's exactly as you would on the guitar. But you have to remember to do that. And that's the trickiest thing to master. So if you're playing a chord... And yeah, that comes with practice, really. That's all. Anyway, there we go. A quick look. You can do all sorts of other stuff with Amplesound. With the sequencer, you can do great sort of humanization that allows you to make it sound as realistic as possible, but I won't go into that here. That's just a look at playing live, so strumming live to some extent, on an Amplesound virtual guitar. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.